UN will investigate sexual assault, rape, in Hamas October 7 attack, Guterres assures.
Here's a summary of the article.
Against the backdrop of widespread anger in Israel over the silence of women's organizations and international bodies regarding the severe sexual violence used by Hamas terrorists against women in the attack on October 7, UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres announced Thursday that these actions must be thoroughly investigated. There are numerous accounts of sexual violence during the abhorrent acts of terror by Hamas on the 7th of October that must be vigorously investigated and prosecuted, Guterres wrote on the X platform, more than 7 weeks after the attack in which more than 1,200 Israelis were killed. Erdogan called on Guterres to participate in a conference he's initiating, expected to take place next week, where evidence and findings of the sexual violence committed by Hamas terrorists will be presented. Parallel to Guterres' statement, Navi Pillay, the chair of the UN committee investigating war crimes by both sides in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, declared Wednesday she now intends to focus her investigation on the acts of sexual violence committed on October 7. The UN committee was established after Operation Guardians of the Walls in 2021 by the UN Human Rights Council, with the authority to investigate crimes committed in the Palestinian territories, without any time limitations. One of the committee members, a Qatari UN official named Milun Kothari, previously called suicide bombings by Palestinians legitimate resistance. Pillay herself, a former South African jurist who served as the UN Human Rights Commissioner in the past, sharply criticized Israel after the outbreak of the current war, stating that the IDF's bombings in Gaza are utterly shocking. Israeli authorities are already conducting their own investigation into acts of sexual violence committed by the terrorists on October 7, particularly cases of rape.
This post received a score of 4,600, with an upvote ratio of 92%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Investigate. Video evidence has already been screened at the UN.
The UN chief intentionally avoided being at the screening, not that it stopped him from voicing an opinion about the attack.
Are they going to investigate about UNRWA teachers holding hostages in their attic?
The UN. We investigated ourselves and found nothing wrong. Frankly, UN Watch is the only UN-affiliated body with legitimacy to conduct an investigation here.
It's a worthless organization focused on helping its members basically do whatever they want. They can't even add in addendums to prevent members that are number 1 on the human rights violations list from being the head of the Human Rights and Ethics Committee. Or IDK, one of the countries historically responsible for selling the Amazon wholesale style to loggers, farmers, or ignoring cartels as the Environmental Division. Either way, they do not give a flying fuck about anyone under the rank of 100 millionaire.
Honestly, the purpose of the UN is to be a place where countries can say whatever they want to each other. It's kind of achieved that. It's not supposed to be making judgments or having any power. Unfortunately, people just assume the UN is some special reliable source of information when it's really just a mishmash of opinions of different countries.
That's not at all what the UN is. It's a multinational body used to enforce international law, set sanctions, provide humanitarian aid, enforce global environmental laws, and provide military assistance to allies. It is also a place for countries to convene and set standards, treaties, and provide arbitration to be adhered to. Hence all the committees.
They'll hold a vote to condemn Hamas which won't pass. Again.
Then they'll hold a vote and condemn the Israeli women that were raped.
Those rapes didn't happen in a vacuum.
Greater than following weeks of silence by women's organizations and international bodies, UN Secretary-General says issue needs to be vigorously investigated. Israel's UN envoy. When it comes to Israeli women, sexual violence that has been proven and determined by state authorities still needs to be investigated.
Who will investigate the UN for the late call?
Lol, shush, don't give it away. The UN condemns sexual violence in Gaza and elsewhere.
I guess the literal hours of video evidence, tons of cases with physical evidence, and dozens of witness statements aren't enough to prove it just yet. Need to do a thorough investigation. If Hamas claims Israel bombed a hospital though, that we take their word on and immediately condemn. The worst part is that it will take them weeks if not months to come to a conclusion that will be limp and ineffective.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.